Hi, this is Mark Wiltshire. Thank you for joining me again for Season 2 of the Explore Finland radio show. I'm sorry it's taken so long. For those that have been waiting, it's happened a little bit later than I expected. I was planning to kick this off towards the end of August, maybe early September, and now here we are, early in October 2015, and I'm just getting started. So apologies for that. I've been busy throughout the summer, recording episodes, meeting with people, getting out there and putting this together. But it is a hobby. It's not a job, so it has to be fitted in around everything else. So I hope that what you find from the next season is more of the same stuff that you liked from season 1, different subjects, of course, and while you're listening, if there's something that you want me to go out and explore and investigate, then please let me know. I thought I would start season 2 with a subject that I think will be interesting to people overseas, particularly to people in America, Canada, and also Australia, who have roots back here in Finland, not far from where I live in Seinäjoki in South Ostrobothnia. Is the Emigrant Museum. Small museum dedicated to Finland's history with emigration and where people going from here and particularly to those countries that I mentioned. So it was really interesting for me. I went and visited Tella Lahti, who I ended up speaking to for about 3 hours, got myself in all sorts of trouble at home because the kids didn't know where I was and I couldn't be reached. But it was it was worth it, I think. And actually, this episode we walk around the museum and she talks to me a little bit about the actual event of emigration from Finland, which was quite a big deal, sort of 100 years or so ago. And in a few weeks' time, there'll be a follow-up episode where we actually go and look at some of the buildings that Tella's been responsible for organising them to be brought back to Finland from other countries, houses that have some significance to some of these Finnish emigrants. So keep an eye out on that. That will be coming soon. Now, without any more preamble, let's head over to my conversation with Tella, and I'll see you again at the end. Today I'm joined by Tella Lahti, who has invited me to join her at the Finnish Emigrant Museum here in Peräseinäjoki, near Seinäjoki in Etelä-Pohjanmaa, in South Ostrobothnia. It's a village of 4,000 people or so. That's quite close to my heart because we're currently sitting about 20 metres away from the church that I got married in. So this is good to be here. Tella, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for visiting us.
So we're going to start with a walk around the museum here. I understand that there was emigration from Finland, but I don't know much more about it. So let's just take some time, have a walk through here, and see what you can tell me.
This is the place for Immigrant Museum. We have some exhibitions here, and this place is like a cooperative. This ownership of this place. So there are 7 societies that own this building. Okay. And we only one of those, but we are the main owner, the main user of this building. So we have more room here than the others. But one of those is our museum, they tell about those evacuated from Karelia during last wars.
Okay.
So that's Lumivaara. It's a place. It's a town where they were sent people to this area in Finland. So, and they're telling about their history in one of these exhibitions here. Then there are lots of.
We came here today to talk about emigration from this region out of the country, and that is kind of the opposite. That's people moving from the east of Finland to this side when that part of the country was lost to Russia.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. So we have some items from American Finns here.
Shall we have a look?
Yeah. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about this phenomenon of people leaving from Finland to find their fortune overseas. I guess the first question is why?
Well, there are lots of reasons for immigration, but I think it's like it was a European phenomena, of course. But from Finland, immigrating late, like 1870s, it started the big wave of immigration.
Okay.
And it's especially from this part of Finland they immigrated. So it was the old province of Vaasa that 53% of all the immigrants they left from this part of Finland. So you can see the map here. So the darker the place, the more people left this area.
I can see.
So
53% of the people that left
Finland
to go overseas came from that area. And that old province of Vaasa is now kind of Pohjanmaa, Etelä-Pohjanmaa.
Keski-Pohjanmaa. Actually, Keski-Pohjanmaa too. Yeah.
Okay. So that must have left this area kind of a bit empty of people.
No, I don't think so. They survived after that.
The region is thriving still nowadays, that's for sure.
Yeah, they had lots of children in the old days. So one of the reasons was, especially this part of Finland, was the system of the heritage. It was only one of the children who got the farmhouse. I'm talking about farmhouse people now. So it was only one of the children got the farmhouse, and the others, they had to survive somehow. And that was one reason for because it was already started to be popular moving to America. So that was one thing they chose to do. So, but then there were also people who just wanted to go there just to get lots of money and come back and build a house or buy a bigger house. That's one.
See, that's really interesting, because there's a similar phenomenon going on now in the UK, or it's perceived to be going on in the UK. And this is people from Poland and other parts of Eastern Europe doing a similar thing, going to work for some years in the UK to make enough money to then build a house back home. So, and this is not a new phenomenon, obviously.
It's no new thing. And then, of course, young people, especially, they were tempted. Like there were some from the village had gone there, and they sent letters. They invited them. Hey, you should come here. It's so nice here, and so on. We get lots of money, and so of course they went there, and some of those they just wanted to have adventure, and that's what that was about. That was a big adventure to go there, and then of course you can say that it was for getting money for food or everything, for living. That's what it must have been the biggest reason.
Was there a particular were there particular circumstances here in Finland at that time that made people go overseas? Were there problems?
We had those bad years for farming. It was 1860s, late 1860s, and this big wave, as I told you, started 1870s. So that was one reason they were afraid of getting another bad years, so that's one reason. Yeah. So and then they had to have some money for the tickets, and here it's said here that they could loan or borrow.
Yes.
Which one?
It's borrow.
Borrow, okay.
It's
borrow.
The same word in Finnish,
In Finnish, it's the same word. That's why I never know which one you're using when you're giving somebody money or you take.
Yeah,
Okay.
you loan to and borrow from.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe I never borrowed.
No, that's a good thing. Good for you.
Yeah. Okay. So that's one system, getting the ticket, and then somebody sold the house, and then somebody got inheritance or something.
Yeah. Okay.
And then relatives and friends from North America, they sent some of those, they sent tickets or money for the tickets. So that's how it was. And here's a map. It tells about 1920s, and you see these red spots are Finns.
Right. Okay.
You can see there in the northern states, and of course California is a special place. But I could tell you it's much the same today. But in Florida, I think there are lots of more Finns, and there are Finns in every state.
Clearly, there were some that did the smart thing and moved from the cold Finnish winter to California for the warmth. But there's a lot clustered around the north of America and the Canadian border, where it's pretty much going from into a similar environment, I guess.
Oh yeah, that must have been one of the reasons. And on Canada's side too, they went there, like they were of course in southern Canada.
I know from some friends, maybe we'll mention them a bit more later, but from the sort of Michigan area, and I've learned from them that there is a big kind of community there that still looks back to Finland fondly and consider themselves American Finns.
Oh yes, yeah, that is true. Yeah. Okay, then, and we actually people living here in Ostrobothnia. There was one more thing that made it easier for them to take their trip, like the ship from Hanko to Britain started this Suomen höyrylaiva osakeyhtiö somewhere. So it started in 1880s. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's the Finnish steam ship. The steam
company
ship,
started 1883. Actually, it was the same year when we got the railway from Tampere to Seinäjoki and Vaasa.
Right. Okay.
So they could take the train from Seinäjoki, Vaasa, and then travel to Hanko, where there was another railway from this Helsinki railway.
Yes.
So it was easier that way, and then they went to Britain, and then they took another train across the country, and then to Liverpool, and then they started the ocean trip with a bigger ship, like ocean ship, and this Finnish ship was of course smaller.
Yeah, sure. Interesting to see the places where they docked on the east of the UK, and then mostly headed out of Liverpool and Glasgow, it seems.
Yeah. Most of those, they went to New York, Ellis Island, but there are several other harbors.
Yeah.
To go. So that's it, and this is another corner of telling people where they came from, and this is the southern Ostrobothnia two-storied bed.
Yeah, okay, bunk beds. Yeah.
Yeah, having this straw mattress.
Yeah, you can hear that. It doesn't compare to the mattresses we have nowadays, but I guess it gives some comfort.
Good sleep, I think. I don't know. But the cover here, this is from America. It's sent to the relatives to Finland.
Yeah, okay. They're quite short, these beds.
Well, it was people, they weren't that short in the 1800s or 19th century, but the sleeping system was different. They had lots of, actually we don't have here, they had lots of pillows here, and they were having their knees, their legs were like hooked. Bent.
Yeah.
Okay, bent. Okay. So that's the system. That's why they are this short. They look so short. People were not that short.
Were they laying with their legs bent or sort of laying on their back with their legs lifted. Is that what you mean?
Well, like this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've seen these in one or two other places, and I've always wondered how
they never explained to you.
No, maybe I never asked before.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. Well, we have some. Actually, these trunks are our special things. We would like to have more of these because we would like to have a line of those in there. So,
well, we're looking at a selection here of maybe, I don't know, 8 or so trunks and cases, and this is amazing, isn't it? This is like something out of Downton Abbey. You see.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're hangers. They put these clothes, and then there are nice boxes to have things. And there's a special.
It's probably better made than the sort of furniture you get from IKEA nowadays.
Oh, yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
I'll take a couple of photos and put them in the show notes because I think that's quite
and
something.
This is the newest donation to us, and they told our people that there's a secret box, and we were looking for it. We were checking every part of here, and then finally there was a group of visitors here, and I told them we can't find the box, and then they said, "Can't you see? Must be here," and it is here, and this is the secret box. They maybe sent money or something valuable, but now they had this nice little
collection of knickknacks, playing cards, and a small pukko knife there, I think.
Yeah, and this is something like
it's real
ink thing.
Yeah.
So that was the silent box. We finally found it here. So
that's the workmanship on something like that is quite something, isn't it? The way it's been put together, and
yes.
And these have been donated by people who maybe have come back with this luggage and had them in storage somewhere.
Their grandfathers, grandmothers, great grandfathers, and they don't want to keep them anymore in the houses. Maybe they have smaller places, or I don't know, but they want to give them here, and that's good because plenty of people can see them here. They can see what they were using.
Yeah, I think people also think that these kind of artifacts deserve a bigger audience, which I think is true.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to realize.
Yeah.
So here's, as we all know, the marriage certificates in the States. There, I don't know about Britain, but in the States they still are. I know.
Is it?
Happen to know they still are like this, beautiful, and they should be framed and so.
Actually, we're here in Peräseinäjoki today, about 20 meters away from where I got married. So we
you
got
know
married.
The church?
I know the church. I've spent one or two Christmas Eves in that church as well since then, and so I don't know what you get in the UK because I got married in Finland. So I don't know how they compare.
Yeah, but these people are those. For instance, this is their engagement picture, photo, portrait, and this is their marriage certificate, and the husband is from Alavus, close to this place, and she's from Virrat, it's close to this place too. Yeah. So that's, and then there are these, when they baptize children, they also have these things.
They're very elaborate, aren't they? Very, very decorative. Wedding certificates, birth certificates. Yeah. I do know my children were born in the UK, and I know that the document is about, I don't know, half the size of that and very plain. Yeah,
that's how it is in EU too.
Yeah,
at least in Finland. So here's a collection of a family that they were living in New York and they returned to Finland 1927, and the family name is Suominen, and she was Berta Elmén. She went to New York as she was a servant in this house, this nice big house, and those girls are her friends, her Finnish friends in New York. Okay. And David Suominen, he went to seize when he was 16-year-old, and he was working around the southern America, and then he went on shore the New York place and started to work as a contractor. Actually, built houses, small houses from the foundation to the top.
Yes.
So and then they met at a Finnish hall in New York where he was playing this violin.
Okay.
And he was like it was his hobby to play this violin, of course. And then they met there, and then they got married, and there's the marriage portrait.
Yes, okay.
And then he built this house for the family. And then he got ill, like sick. With his hands, he couldn't work anymore. And then they were thinking they should return to Finland, because one of the reasons was that Berta had a small child in Finland, and she had left him to her mother, the grandmother,
okay.
And of course she started to miss him. So they returned to Finland, and this is the real how do you say it, plate?
Yeah, like a label.
Label. Yeah, okay. And this is they must have come from England to Finland.
Yeah.
This and they had, this is their trunk, the real trunk they had there, and this sewing machine is they were using in New York, and this is a special Fireless stove.
Yeah, I can see written on the front. It says Duplex Fireless stove.
Yeah.
So, what does that do? How does that work?
Yeah. They had for instance, first thing is the stone down there.
Right.
And
so this is
heated like on the oven.
Yeah, I understand. So this is like it looks like a chest,
Yeah.
a metal chest, and it's two sides to it, and one side is lifted up, and there's like a cylinder hole, and in the bottom of that hole is a stone, as you said.
Yeah, that's heated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there are kettles, like maybe more than these two, and they put food in these, and then it was here like overnight or for several hours, and then it got ready. They did it.
Okay. And when would something like this have been used?
It was used over 100 years ago.
But
at least in this family.
In their house, they would have used
In
something
the house,
like that
yes.
in their house.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I've never seen
Yeah,
that before. This behind you, this Singer sewing machine, I have seen.
Okay.
You see a lot of these being used nowadays as decoration in houses.
Because you can put this thing machine down there,
Yeah,
and
inside.
then it looks like a closet or what's your word, cupboard?
Like a small cabinet.
Cabinet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've also had more than one Finnish man roll his eyes and say, "Oh, this thing just taking up space. It's not used. It's just there."
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think there's a cultural thing there as well.
Yeah.
Finnish women like to keep their old sewing machine.
Of course. Yes, of course. And these are their stuff, like coffee cups and this is for spice set. This is
okay. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So that's and they got their only child, a daughter. She was born in Finland when they got back, the return to Finland, and she's the one who donated these things to us.
Where did they come back to? What area or what town?
Pori, you know. Pori
Yes, okay.
area.
Yeah.
And she's living in Pori at the moment.
Yeah.
This daughter. So and about this, you call these rugs.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, this is
Americans, I think, what I've heard, they call these rugs.
Yeah.
And they are made, when they send clothes to children or maybe adults too in those packages, and then they were used, those clothes, and then they got too small or something. They were like used till the end or something.
Yeah.
So they cut them
into strips.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And then they made these rugs, and these are from American clothes. Though these rugs are made from American material.
Because these are very traditional style of rug.
Yeah.
I think of these as being Finnish
yes,
rugs.
Yes, it is Finnish style. Yeah.
But nobody explained how they originated anyway. Like that.
Yeah.
You see them in every possible colour that you want. The pattern is stripes, kind of going across, normally going across the rug, sometimes going along, and they're everywhere. People use them indoors, people use them outdoors, and also particularly at the more traditional summer cottage as well.
Yeah, and
you
will see in this building we have downstairs we have one of those.
Right. Okay.
We're using them there.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a donation, but still we're using it. And this is one example of the American packages. American paketti, and this nice dress has come to a family here in Peräseinäjoki.
It was sent from America.
Yes.
As a gift.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was during and after last wars we had in the 40s and 50s when they didn't have much of anything here in Finland, so they wanted to help relatives here. And these are here we have more of those, and here's some things from Canada. This person was from Ähtäri. It's in southern Bosnia too.
Yeah.
So he came back from Canada after staying there for some years, and in 1920s, and he had all these things with him, and his grandson has donated those to us here. And this is a special pocket watch.
Pocket watch, yeah.
Yeah, and there's the what is that? The card of the
like a business card.
Business card, yeah. The place where he bought this, and look the coins here, the decoration.
Yeah, the chain of the pocket watch has got different coins. I can't tell if they're American or Canadian coins.
Canadian, yeah. And here's one of the Canadian Finns. He's returned to Finland, but he's Tauno Alkula. He's living in Soini at the moment still, and he was cutting these.
That's a giant redwood, I guess.
Actually, it's Douglas. It's not pine. It's the other. You know this.
Did you say Douglas? Douglas fir.
Fir.
Yeah.
Douglas fir. Yeah, that's what it is. But he visits us very often.
Okay.
He's a member of the special Palm Club. We have founded a club for those who have returned to Finland from. And he was staying in Canada for over 30 years, and then returned because his father told him to come because his siblings they were working at the universities and so, and they needed a farmer when the father didn't want to do that work anymore. So that's why he had to come back
to run the farm.
Yeah. So, but he's a very active member of that. Palmu klubi. Yeah. Palm means, of course, palm, but it means that they've been in places where there's palms. Well, not him, but it also means paluumuuttaja, the return mover. Paluumuuttaja.
Okay.
So palmu, that's the word. That's our word for that.
That's good. I'll put some of these. I normally put the Finnish words that come up in the conversation into the show notes, so I'll do that here as well.
Yes, yeah. And this is a special place for me and for everybody in the world, I hope. So Sointula is one of those Finnish settlements. It was created in the beginning of the 20th century, 1906 or something, and they had lots of Finns there, and it was one of those utopic societies.
Okay.
Yeah. And Matti Kurikka was the founder. He first was about to found a settlement for Finns in Australia, but then he was called to Canada. So because it didn't succeed in Australia. So these pictures are from Sointula, and this photographer is Thomas Koivukangas. His parents came from Finland, but he was born in Canada. and these there are some pictures from there. But we this September we start making a big exhibition about this Sointula settlement, about the history, and we have lots of material about that. I visited it for 3 times now, and we have videos and interviews, and they are most of them are the 3rd generation after the Finns who immigrated there, and they don't speak Finnish at all. Maybe there are some people who still can Finnish, but not many. But it's a nice place, and you will see after this next fall, you will see how nice a place it is.
Yeah.
They're fishing, they're fishermen and such things there still.
I will keep my eyes open on your website. And
Yes. And this is one of the settlements they used to have close to Vancouver, and it is Finnslu is the name, and here's a special place and the special words for everybody knows that that's a Finnish place.
Just looking at a picture there with a couple of small wooden buildings built on a platform on stilts right next to a small river. Yeah,
and nobody's living. Maybe there are some other people living temporarily or some, but no Finns there anymore. So here the pictures of the farmhouses that are owned by Finns. Actually, they still are. Some of those are owned by Finns. Later generations, of course, 3rd, 4th generation after the immigration. So you can see here that they still have that lock system. They have brought from Finland this building system, but then they have this American style.
Well, when you said we have a exhibition downstairs of Finnish barns in America, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. But now you stand here and look at the whole wall and the variety of different barns, and of course you say these larger, taller barns have a different style. Yeah. But still, it's quite impressive to see the variety and the way they're maintained and looked after, like all these other buildings. Yeah. And do people give you these pictures after they've come to see the museum, or?
Well, this is actually all these pictures are taken by Bob Kisken. And he is an American living in Wyoming, a retired teacher. And he's very fond of Finland, and he thinks his roots are in Finland. He doesn't know about that. He doesn't know about his grandfather when he immigrated. They didn't know about his background, but he's quite sure that Finland is somehow in his life and in his past. And
he can feel it in his bones.
He feels it, but he's never been to Finland. Because he doesn't want to fly. But I told him, I've met him in Duluth. I told him, why don't you take this, maybe this cargo ship or whatever they have there, and maybe he will someday.
That would be really retracing the roots, the exact route of his grandfather.
Yeah.
Take the ship from Canada or America. Yeah. And the display of barns and outhouses just continues. It goes on wall after wall in here. It's quite something to see.
He's also donated us pictures. He's taken pictures of cemeteries and gravestones and those things too, but he's donated, for now, he's donated those farmhouse buildings and then some of the persons like Finns in there. And the group we had last week from Minnesota, one of the visitors, he found a person, he knew this person, wow. and he took a picture, of course, and we'll show her that you are on the wall there. Yeah. Yes, you know when the first Finns went to America?
No.
You don't know? No. It was 1638.
Okay, tell that.
This tells about that. because, those days Finland was a part of Sweden.
Yes.
Yeah, you know that. Okay, good.
No, I know some history.
Oh, yeah, good. Okay, this is about Swedish history, and then they were sailing to America. So yeah, and then they were in 1638. Swedish people. They went there and they founded the New Sweden place there in the eastern coast of America.
And what about Australia? There were also some emigrants went to Australia. What did they do over there?
Well, most of them were miners. There were copper mines like this Mount Isa.
Okay, yeah.
A town. It's almost made by Finns and founded by Finns. Most population of that town was they were Finns, and there was a copper miners. They were copper miners, and then all these things are donated by them.
Yeah, there's a small section here for things from Australia as well.
Yeah, and then of course they were, for instance, sugarcane farmers.
Right. Okay.
Like they were working. Actually, they could be farmers too if they owned the farm. After working, maybe they were practicing the job. They were working at a sugarcane farm first as a cutter, and then if they got interested in that thing, they could found their own farm or buy their own farm.
And this I think leads quite nicely to a separate area from the Emigrant Museum where we are now, which is the World of Trails.
Yeah.
Now, we've been talking a lot already, so I think when we head over there, that will probably be a second episode of the podcast, which is great. Thank you for all your time. But maybe you can just explain briefly what the World of Trails is.
Yeah, it's a part of this Immigrant Museum kind of outer part, and the purpose is to transport buildings that were owned and at least lived, maybe built by Finns everywhere in the world, doesn't matter where, and by Finnish, they were built by Finnish immigrants.
And you've got 3 buildings there that have been brought over to Peräseinäjoki in the last 8 or 9 years or so. Where have they come from?
Oh, the first building on the area was built by the money that was earned in America, and that's But then there is a building from Australia and one from Russia, Siberia.
Okay.
So that's what we have there already.
Maybe we should stop this recording now, and I can say, Tella, thank you very much for taking me around the museum, taking your time to talk to me, and let's head over to the World of Trails. Okay,
thank you for visiting us.
So big thanks to Tella for her time, for taking me around the museum. You'll find on the show notes, if you go to www.explorefinlandpodcast.com, click on the link that says podcast, show and notes, and you'll be able to find the show notes for this one, episode number 17. And there's some pictures from the museum and a few other interesting bits and pieces to go along with what you've just heard in this episode. Please remember to like and rate and review this podcast wherever it is you happen to be listening to it, whether it's iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And that will help me to find a new audience, and that's what this is all about after all. Also, you can follow me on social media, so Facebook, Twitter, Google+, if anyone still uses it, and also on Instagram. So head over there and find me on there. I just wanted to say thanks to a few people who have connected with the show, actually through the summer where there hasn't been a show, but they've connected with me through Facebook. You'll recognise yourself from this list, I hope. That's Anne, Maria, thank you, Dan, Julian, who really should know better. If you're listening to this, Jules, I know who you are, and you should have been following me a lot sooner than 3 weeks ago. Also, Hayley, hi Hayley, Syed, Farouk, and Tina, all have started following this summer, as well as Pia and Jonas. And I think that's maybe enough names. If you've been following the Explore Finland radio show on Facebook throughout this summer and you heard your name, then it's probably you. And that's it for this episode. Season 2 has kicked off. I hope it kicked off with something that was interesting to you, and stick around. This will be coming out weekly now. I guess probably for about 15, 16 episodes until the end of Season 2. So there's a good few months of stuff coming up. Keep with me, and I'll speak to you again next week. Thanks very much. Bye.